In the heart of Uganda, a nation yearning for change, a sinister game unfolds. Political prisoners, supporters of the National Unity Platform and its charismatic leader Bobi Wine, find themselves caught in a web of injustice. For nearly 4 years, these brave souls have languished behind bars, their only crime being the audacity to dream of a better Uganda. The regime's tactics are as cruel as they are calculated. Plead guilty or rot in jail, they whisper, their words dripping with false promises and veiled threats. It's a psychological war designed to break the spirits of those who dare to challenge the status quo. And sadly, it's beginning to work. On September 10th, 3 more prisoners succumbed to the pressure. 3 more voices silenced, 3 more lives forever altered. They stood before the court, heads bowed, and admitted to crimes they never committed. All for the faint glimmer of hope that they might taste freedom again, that they might see their loved ones, that they might reclaim some semblance of the lives they once knew. But at what cost? These admissions of guilt are not justice. They're a perversion of it. They're the result of a system so corrupt, so desperate to maintain its grip on power, that it will stop at nothing to crush dissent. The stories from within the prison walls are heart-wrenching. Olivia Lutaya, her resolve tested by years of confinement, recently received visitors. Not family or friends, but military operatives. They came bearing honeyed words and poisonous lies. Bobi Wine lives in luxury while you suffer, they told her. Denounce him and you'll be free. It's a script they've perfected, repeated in cells across Upper Prison, Murchison Bay, and Catalia. Some prisoners, worn down by time and despair, have been convinced to abandon their legal representation. In its place, they're offered military lawyers who promise audiences with General Museveni himself. It's a cruel charade, a mockery of due process and human rights. The toll on these political prisoners is immeasurable. Many have fallen ill, their bodies weakened by poor conditions and neglect. Others have lost loved ones while behind bars, unable to say goodbye or find closure. They've watched as the world outside moved on, as their children grew up without them, as opportunities slipped away. Yet we must remember these are not criminals. Their so-called crime was supporting Bobi Wine in the National Unity Platform. Their crime was daring to envision a Uganda free from the iron grip of Museveni's dictatorship, a reign that has stretched on since 1986. They advocated for genuine social, economic, and political change in a nation desperate for progress. The regime's strategy is as transparent as it is despicable. By coercing these innocent people into false confessions, they seek to legitimize their politically motivated charges. They aim to paint the National Unity Platform as a criminal enterprise, to undermine the struggle for freedom by persecuting those who champion it. This weaponization of the judicial process is a stain on Uganda's conscience. Since 2020, the government has tried and failed to criminalize political dissent. Now they exploit the suffering of their own citizens to achieve what lies and propaganda could not. But even as some prisoners break under the immense pressure, we must not lose sight of the bigger picture. For every voice silenced, more rise to take its place. The struggle for a free and fair Uganda continues, both inside and outside the prison walls. As night falls over Uganda, spare a thought for those who sacrifice their freedom for the hope of a better tomorrow. They need our prayers, our support, and our unwavering commitment to justice now more than ever. For in their struggle, we see the resilience of the human spirit and the power of a dream that refuses to die. The road ahead is long and fraught with danger. More activists are being abducted, more voices silenced. Some disappear without a trace, leaving families to wonder and worry. But in the face of this oppression, the people of Uganda stand strong. They know that the night is darkest just before dawn, and they hold on to hope that a new day for their nation will soon break. This is not just Uganda's fight. It's a battle for the soul of democracy, for the fundamental human rights that we all hold dear. As the world watches, we must ask ourselves, will we stand idly by, or will we raise our voices in solidarity with those who risk everything for freedom? The struggle in Uganda runs deeper than many outsiders realize. It's a tale of a nation held hostage by a regime that has mastered the art of oppression, cloaking its iron fist in a thin veneer of democracy. Since 1986, President Yoweri Museveni has maintained his grip on power through a combination of political maneuvering, military might, and the systematic dismantling of opposition voices. The National Unity Platform, led by the charismatic musician-turned-politician Bobi Wine, real name Robert Sintamu, emerged as a beacon of hope for many Ugandans. Wine's message of change resonated particularly with the youth, who make up a significant portion of Uganda's population. His ability to connect with the masses through music and grassroots organizing posed a genuine threat to Museveni's decades-long rule. The regime's response was swift and brutal. In the lead-up to the 2021 elections, supporters of the National Unity Platform faced unprecedented levels of harassment, intimidation, and violence. Campaign rallies were violently dispersed, with security forces using live ammunition against unarmed civilians. Dozens lost their lives, their blood spilled on the streets they had hoped to reclaim for a free Uganda. The election itself was marred by irregularities, with widespread reports of ballot stuffing, voter intimidation, and an internet shutdown that plunged the country into an information blackout. Despite these obstacles, Bobi Wine mounted a significant challenge, officially securing 35% of the vote according to the Electoral Commission. Many believe the true figure was much higher, possibly enough to have unseated Museveni. In the aftermath of the election, the crackdown intensified. Thousands of National Unity Platform supporters were rounded up in a series of nighttime raids. Many were taken to undisclosed locations, subjected to torture, and held incommunicado for weeks or months. The lucky ones eventually surfaced in military courts, facing charges of treason or unlawful possession of firearms, charges widely believed to be fabricated. The stories that have emerged from these detentions are harrowing. Prisoners speak of overcrowded cells, inadequate food and medical care, and routine beatings. Some describe being subjected to electric shocks or having their fingernails pulled out. Women report sexual assault at the hands of their captors. The aim is clear: to break not just the bodies, but the spirits of those who dare to dream of a different Uganda. International human rights organizations have condemned these abuses, but the regime has largely shrugged off such criticisms. Museveni, emboldened by his longevity and Uganda's strategic importance in the region, has mastered the art of paying lip service to democratic ideals while ruthlessly suppressing dissent. The judiciary, once seen as a potential check on executive power, has been compromised. Judges who show independence find themselves sidelined or worse. The use of military courts to try civilians is a particularly worrying trend, as these courts operate outside the normal judicial system and offer little in the way of due process. The international community's response has been mixed. While some countries have issued statements of concern, concrete action has been limited. Ugandan activists often feel abandoned by the international community, left to face a well-funded and ruthless regime on their own. Yet they persist, knowing that the fight for freedom is ultimately one that must be won by Ugandans themselves. As the days in detention turn into weeks, months, and years, the toll on political prisoners and their families is immense. Children grow up without parents, businesses crumble, and dreams are put on hold. The psychological impact of prolonged detention, coupled with the constant pressure to confess, creates a trauma that will linger long after prison doors eventually open. For those who have succumbed to the pressure and pleaded guilty to crimes they didn't commit, the future is uncertain. Will the regime honor its promises of release, or will these confessions simply be used to further delegitimize the opposition? And for those who continue to resist, how long can they hold out against the relentless onslaught of a system designed to break them? These are the questions that haunt the nights of countless Ugandans, both inside and outside prison walls. Yet amidst the darkness, flickers of hope remain. Every act of defiance, no matter how small, keeps the flame of resistance alive. Every story shared, every prayer uttered, every song of freedom sung in hushed tones, these are the building blocks of a movement that refuses to be silenced. The struggle in Uganda is not just about one election or one leader. It's about the fundamental right of a people to determine their own destiny, to build a nation that reflects their aspirations and values. It's a fight that resonates far beyond Uganda's borders, touching on universal themes of justice, dignity, and the indomitable nature of the human spirit. Thank you for tuning in to the JB Mwangi podcast. If you found this video informative and valuable, We'd be grateful if you'd consider subscribing to our channel. This is the official home of the JB Mwange podcast, where we bring you crucial stories and insights from Uganda and beyond. We'd love to hear your thoughts on today's discussion. Please share your perspective in the comments section below. Your voice matters in this ongoing conversation about freedom and justice. If you believe others could benefit from this information, don't hesitate to share this video with your friends and family. By spreading awareness, you're playing a vital role in shining a light on these important issues. Thank you for your support and for being part of our community. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and have a great day.